Yo guys, what's up? Oh man.
Ready with 2G! 2G! Ready with 2G! Ready with 2G!
I can ride my bike with no handlebars, no handlebars, no handlebars. I could. When I was younger, I could really ride a bike with no handlebars. Motorcycles, that's a different story. My bike, I could definitely ride with no handlebars. Oktoberfest is on right now, and I can definitely tell because there's like a ass ton of bikes. I mean, Florida notoriously has a lot of bikes. There's just a ass ton of them out right now. It's crazy how many bikes are out on the road that I see. I've never seen so many. Yeah, I don't get asked this too often, but you know, every now and then someone will ask me like, what's it like to ride? Is it hard to learn? And hindsight being 2020, when people ask me, and the first thing I always ask is, have you ever ridden a bicycle? If they say yeah, I'm like, nah, it's not that hard. You ever driven a manual car? No. It gets a little bit more difficult. But for me, I took to riding really, really easily. You know, it wasn't like a hard-learned process for me. I was pretty methodical about it. I mean, I'm crazy. I become fanatic about stuff if I'm interested in something. I used to be bad about it when it came to video games. So if there's a video game that I wanted, I would want to know when I was younger everything possible about that video game before it came out, so that I can make a sound decision on if I wanted to buy said video game. And I would read review after review. I try to find bad reviews, good reviews, ask people's opinions on it. So when I decided to get a motorcycle, I did a lot of research into it. Now looking back on it, there are some things that now that I'm riding that I would have done differently than I did. The first thing I would have done was I would have gotten me a Honda VFR. And I say that because there was a sweet deal on one. I think it was like a early 90s 750. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I just have to do that when I get to a tunnel. Down there's the Harley dealership, so it doesn't surprise me that they're turning here. That's US Navy guy. Right down there is Seminole Harley Davidson. So, where was I? This road, I would have went ahead and gotten a standard or a bike like this. The reason I say that is, well, I would have gotten a Ninja 250. I started on a Honda Shadow VLX, and as much as I love that bike, that's not the best bike to learn on for a beginner, in my opinion. I don't think cruisers are the way to go. I think it's better you learn on a standard bike. You know, even if it's like a dual sport, something a little bit more upright, and then work your way into the cruiser. The reason I say that is because the way cruisers are designed by nature, they're raked. The front of the bike is raked What that means is that the front tire is pitched. I guess pitch. I don't know. You know, if I'm wrong, you guys let me know, because I'm always wrong. The front of the bike is pitched forward, so the front tire is further away, and it's angled more. And when you do that, you lose steering. You lose steering a little. It's hard to explain unless you ride. And I think that hurts you in slow maneuvering when you're a beginner rider. And the other thing about the bike that I started with, the VLX, it was heavier than this bike. And it was a V-twin 600. I know this bike was, when it was, you know, in the 90s, considered a super sport, and this version is considered a sport touring. But it was heavier, and by being heavier, it made it harder to handle, but not a lot harder, because I'm a big guy, so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this thing's super heavy like my 1600. It was more like, wow, this is a lot heavier than the 250 that I was learning to ride on. And because of that, it didn't give me the confidence in the it didn't give me the confidence in it didn't give me the confidence, you know, turning or slow speed maneuvering. Now, the vehicle that completely shattered my confidence in that completely shattered my confidence in that was the bigger bike I have now, the 1600, because that thing is just, and I read online it's hard to maneuver at slow speeds. But I think as a new rider, weight is super important. I know power is too, and generally getting a smaller capacity bike means, you know, they weigh less. But my Shadow weighed more than this, and you know, for how much power it outputted, which was the same as a 250 parallel twin Kawasaki, it felt like it weighed way more. So that's part of the deal. So I think weight is super important. Now on my journey through my bikes, I went cruiser, sport tourer / old super sport. Am I going cruiser 600 to 1600, 1600 to 600 super sport? The first thing I immediately noticed getting on this bike is how light it is. And because this bike is so light, and because I'm mature enough to not be stupid all the time, and right within the limits of myself, this bike is confidence inspiring. This bike has been a boost to my confidence, and actually riding this has made me a better rider on my cruiser, which doesn't make any sense at all, but it just does. I haven't been able to figure out why that is, but I could just notice after riding this and getting on my cruiser, I don't know if it's my confidence. And yeah, they're two different bikes, so it's like, it shouldn't translate, but it kind of does a little bit. You know, certain things, riding this, that is just when I get on that bike, I do on that bike that I couldn't necessarily do or do with confidence before. And I don't know if it's because with this I just play around with it, I don't know. Hey guys, anyway, I think I've done enough rambling and not explaining what I'm trying to explain, because I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. That's a Destiny reference for any of you guys who play. So I'm gonna get off here. I'm almost to my destination, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Adios.